I am going to be breaking down my score I did for the Malenia cutscene. This is going to be for the first part of the cutscene. There's a part 2, if you're in the know, if you made it that far. But this first part is for the initial cutscene when you first walk into the boss battle here. First, I want to watch the cutscene and talk about the way it is in the actual game. So this is... Does it not have any music? I believe this one doesn't have any music. Right, it's the second part that does. Hold on, I forgot. In the game, this cutscene doesn't have any music. One of the reasons why I like these Elden Ring cutscenes is because they're kind of ripe for providing something else on top of. They have a lot of cool tension without any, but there's room for something. There's room for a little bit of something. So here we go, I did it. I'm gonna just play this because the beginning of this cutscene, I think this is beautiful, by the way, the walking in and the kind of intro anticipation. But that's what this first part is to me, is this anticipation. You're setting the scene, you're seeing what's going on. And my idea here was I really just want this to be in line with what we're seeing here. This kind of like dark, corrupted Malenia that's sort of still and has this sort of beautiful quality to it that not all the Elden Ring and Dark Souls bosses I would call beautiful. A lot of monstrosities out there. Malenia, I feel like it should be pretty in a way, but terrifying in a way too. You know.
I dreamt for so long.
Got a little bit of dialogue here. So I wanted a little bit of space
my flesh was
for this.
dull gold, and my blood rotted.
Sure, whatever you say.
Corpse after corpse left in my wake. As I awaited his return.
Okay, I can tell. I remember. It's been a little while, but I remember. I feel like I watched this too many times for a couple of reasons. Mostly trying to get through this. But secondly, to write music. This part that she's about to say here that a lot of us have heard her say more times than we'd like to admit.
Heed my words.
The next thing.
I am Malenia, Blade of Miquella.
So that I am Malenia, Blade of Miquella, the whole concept for this cutscene, the idea that I wanted to run with after the long intro is to take that voice line that I feel like it's one of the most iconic like pieces of dialogue in Elden Ring and extrapolate on it, or kind of like use it musically as a sort of rhythmic and pitched idea to kind of take the way she says it and the rhythm she says it and make it into something. So when I play the version with music, you'll hear that. Now, see, that's the end of the cutscene, right?
And I have never known,
I've never known defeat, right? It's so quiet. It's so empty. And I love a lot of the emptiness of some of the Souls cutscenes, but I feel like there's so much drama and tension. To have it be this empty is kind of doing a disservice to it. So that's my idea here. And now this is possibly blasphemous for me to say something like that, but I'm letting it ride. I'm full send. Here we go. That's what I think. All right. So that is the cutscene just as it is in the game. And now I want to play my version here. This is our intro with her sort of walking up, or the character, sorry, walking into the boss team. And I've just got these voices kind of chanting this melody, providing this kind of like magical but pretty beautiful type of thing that I was talking about. And we get a voice added each time, and then here we've got just this solo cello and a little bit of violin, and then this big break. Where it's just violin here.
I dreamt for so long.
And then this.
My
Wanted this
flesh
just to
was
be
dull
exposed
gold,
and
my blood
beautiful, but kind of
rotted.
corrupted and weird. That's the idea for
Corpse
this.
after corpse left
This is
in
the
my
beautiful
wake.
part, and then this. The weird
As I
dissonant
waited,
staccato
his return.
parts. I thought was a good way to kind of exemplify what's going on in the cutscene with the impression that I feel like Malenia gives off. So far, we haven't had any big bombastic stuff, and I don't think it's necessary. I said before that this could use music because of how empty it is. And here, I think this is helpful in setting the tone and giving it some other identifiable features musically or sonically. But so far, I didn't think that this was appropriate to have something that was like really big and loud and in your face here. And then in a moment here, I'm going to change my mind about that. But the rest of this violin happens. And then we get her line.
Heed my words.
Okay, this is what I'm looking for now.
I am Malenia, blade of Miquella.
So that I really wanted. I am Malenia. Ba 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 ba. This everything coming in to have like this really dramatic effect. Now, maybe this only works because this is a rescore after we're used to the cutscene, but I just thought it was a fun addition to really play with the way that she's saying this and interject it right afterwards. We have her version and then full blast orchestra coming in, and then the Blade of Miquella full blast playing like the second half of this musical phrase. So here you go. This is it from the I am Malenia part.
I am Malenia, blade of Miquella.
With a little bit of pullback. And then that same I am Malenia, Blade of Miquella, gets thrown around and kind of sequenced through this whole chord progression, essentially, in a sort of romantic era classical type of way, where we get the brass playing it and then the strings repeating the next sort of version of the phrase afterwards. So it's getting tossed back and forth. While I'm listening to this part, I'm kind of hearing the whole orchestra saying that I am Malenia, Blade of Miquella back and forth like a number of times here. So this is that part when it gets tossed around a bit. And then we get that wind down, we get some of these runs, and then it kind of just ends on the I am Malenia, I am Malenia, I am Malenia. Not going to keep that singing in there, but it ends on sort of this breaking of that phrase with some runs, and then that big low piano part at the bottom for that I have never known defeat, and then that's it. You're in. And then the fight starts there. That's kind of the idea for this one, is slow, quiet, pretty tension, and then that voice line with the full bombast of the orchestra coming in for the kind of the whole end there, throwing that theme around, developing it harmonically a little bit, but really kind of just sticking with that one initial theme. This is one of my favorite cutscenes, this and the second part of Malenia, and I just think it's very cool and beautiful and interesting and one of the most iconic fights. So I really enjoyed having an idea for this one that was kind of weird and unique. And I don't know, I don't hear a lot of cutscenes have music that responds to them so literally. Now, this was just fun for me to do because I like this and I think it would be interesting. Maybe if this was in an actual game, it wouldn't feel like it was the best choice or the most appropriate to have it be like that, literally responding. But I don't know, maybe it would too. Either way, it was a fun thing to do and to play with as an homage to something that's I really loved. So I enjoyed doing this one. I think I'm going to do a video for the part 2 also that I did for making another score for that. That one was very different in some ways. Actually, that was very different in pretty much every way because it's a whole different cutscene. I'm probably going to do a video for that one and for some of the other Elden Ring cutscenes. If you want to hear this or any of the other Elden Ring cutscenes that I've done without me yapping over it, check that out. That's on my channel here. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one.